There's plenty of money to go around. The first thing I would do as president was eliminate the president's tax cut.
Let's reverse the Trump tax cut.
It's a good question. Number one, I was a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. Every single American should be wearing a mask when they're outside for the next 3 months at a minimum. Every governor should mandate mandatory mask wearing. It's not about your rights, it's about your responsibilities.
I just had a couple things. I mean, I was in the White House in 2009, 2010. I was working for Vice President Biden. I wasn't involved directly in the H1N1 response, but I lived through it as a White House staffer. And what I will say about it is a bunch of really talented, really great people working on it, and we did every possible thing wrong. And it's, 60 million Americans got H1N1 in that period of time, and it's just purely a fortuity that this isn't one of the great mass casualty events in American history. Had nothing to do with us doing anything right, just had to do with luck. And so if anyone thinks that this can't happen again, they don't have to go back to 1918, they just have to go back to 2009, 2010. Imagine a virus with a different lethality, and you can just do the math on that. Now,
and I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son, got fired.
Trump campaigned on build that wall. Are you willing to tear that wall down?
No, there will not be another foot of wall constructed on my administration.
Immediately on January 20th of 2021, I will, first of all, we cannot forget our DACA recipients, and so I'm going to start there. I will immediately, by executive action, reinstate DACA status and DACA protection to those young people. I will further extend protection for deferral of deportation for their parents. I will get rid of the private detention centers.
You know this better than anyone else. Since day one of this administration, there's been a relentless attack on the Latino community. Donald Trump's anti-Latino, anti-immigrant agenda has targeted Latinos with dire consequences, whether it's his attacks on health care, his obsession with meaningless walls, or children being ripped from their mother's arms at the border. The list goes on, as you know. In the coming days, the Supreme Court's going to issue its ruling on whether Donald Trump's rescission of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, the so-called DACA program, is lawful.
Response.
The catch and release, you know what he's talking about there? If in fact you had a family came across and they were arrested, they in fact were given a date to show up for their hearing. They were released, and guess what? They showed up.
So important. 30 seconds, and then we'll move on.
It just shows that he has no understanding of immigration or the laws. Catch and release is a disaster. A murderer would come in, a rapist would come in, a very bad person would come in. We would take their name. We have to release them into our country. And then you say they come back. Less than 1% of the people come back. We have to send ICE out and Border Patrol out to find them. We would say, come back in 2 years, 3 years. We're going to give you a court case. You need Perry Mason. We're going to give you a court case. When you say they come back, they don't come back, Joe. They never come back. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, they might come back.
Okay, President Trump, let's give Vice President.
Will we be the generation that finally wipes out the stain of racism from our national character? They speak to a nation where, too often, just the color of your skin puts your life at risk. When he tweeted the words, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. They weren't the words of a president.
They were words of a racist Miami police chief in the 60s.
Antifa is an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you gotta be
not
kidding.
militia.
Manish, how are you, man? Well, good to see you. As you know, I got a lot of support from you, Cindy.
That's where, and more to come, I think. So.
No, I've had a great relationship. In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking. Oh, gigantic.
150 million people have been killed since 2007 when Bernie voted to exempt the gun manufacturers from liability. More than all the wars, including Vietnam, from that point on. Carnage on our street. And I want to tell you, if I'm elected and I'm coming for you and gun manufacturers, I'm going to take you on and I'm going to beat you. I'm the only one who's done. Support the second. Putting on fire, that's not free speech. From the very beginning, I have a shotgun, I have a 20 gauge, a 12 gauge, my son's hunt. Guess what? You're not allowed to own anyway. I'm not taking your gun away at all. You need 100 rounds and you're no. I did not say that. That's not true. I did not say that.
During the run-up to the passage of Obamacare, President Obama promised my father that if he likes his plan, he can keep his plan, and that his insurance will be cheaper. After passage, his plan was no longer allowed, and his insurance costs doubled. Since you supported the plan, were you lying to my dad, or did you not understand the bill you supported?
Lion, dog face, pony shoulder. No, look, there's two ways people know when something is important. One, when it's so clear when it's passed that everybody understands it, and no one did understand Obamacare, including the way it was rolled out, and the gentleman's right. He said you could keep your doctor if you wanted to, and you couldn't keep your doctor if you wanted to necessarily. He's dead right about that. If you don't like it, you can move into the public option that I propose in my plan. But if you like it, you shouldn't have Washington dictating to you. You cannot keep the plan you have.
Thank you, Vice President Biden.
He wants socialized medicine, and it's not that he wants it. His vice president, is more liberal than Bernie Sanders and wants it even more. Bernie Sanders wants it. The Democrats want it. You're going to have socialized medicine, just like you want with fracking. We're not going to have fracking. We're going to stop. He goes to Pennsylvania after he gets a nomination, where he got very lucky to get it, and he goes to Pennsylvania, and he says, oh, we're going to have fracking.